How does my baby go about making a claim for their HIE brain injury at birth? This question is essentially asking, how does one go about the legal process for a baby making this type of claim? This question was posed to me by a mother who wanted to make sure that I understood that, first of all, this was something that she was really reluctant to do, and that she was not the type of person who just wanted to sue people. She didn't want to have really anything to do with this. This was specifically for her baby. And so she was trying to figure out information as to how does this process work? Now, throughout the United States, each state may deal with this issue a little bit different because this can be a state-by-state issue when it comes to the specifics as to legal claims like this. So I want to talk in general about some of the common issues that come up when we're talking about something like this. So yes, in general, when a baby is injured and they have a traumatic brain injury like an HIE injury, in a lot of instances, they will be able to make specific claims as it pertains to them. Because remember, they have been injured, they have been harmed, and as a part of a negligence analysis, one of the main issues for negligence is damages. There's four major elements: duty, breach, causation, and damages. Or in our context, that damages is going to be the injury or the harm that is done to the baby. So the baby has a traumatic brain injury. It has an injury. So yes, there can be specific claims that are going to be made by the baby as it pertains to their injury. Now, of course, you've got to go through, when we're dealing with something like this, that issue of standard of care, whether there was a deviation from the standard of care causing the injury or the harm. That is also included in that umbrella of negligence when we're drilling down and we're having a medical malpractice analysis. But again, yes, babies can have their specific claims. And so going back to this mother who I talked with, although she may have had specific claims, she did not want to move forward with any claims that she may have had during labor and delivery. Her focus was specifically what was going on with her baby, and that is where she was focused on. And so, yes, there can be specific things for the baby, and as long as you're able to meet those elements, you're able to show that the departure from the standard of care is what caused the injury or the harm. Yes, the baby will be able to move forward. Now, there could be a lot of things and a lot of reasons during labor and delivery as to why this action is taking place. So, for example, you may have issues like, a failure to provide timely obstetrical care. You may have a failure to timely and properly do medical interventions. You may have a failure to evaluate and respond to a worsening medical status. You may have a failure to intervene in light of deteriorating fetal heart strips. You may have a failure to recognize the risk of a hypoxic injury, even in the face of these deteriorating strips. I mean, there's a whole host of issues that can come up in a situation like this. And that's why it is important that if you have questions and if you're wondering as to, okay, whether medical malpractice or was it genetics or developmental issues is what caused your baby's injury, it is important to speak with a birth injury lawyer like myself who are versed in these issues and can give you a good guidance as to how to take the next steps in the process, whether what happened to your baby is enough to move forward with a specific type of claim for the child. If you have more questions, maybe you're watching this video today because your baby has suffered an HIE injury and you have questions like I was talking about earlier as to what caused this. Was medical malpractice the reason, or was it genetics or developmental? If that is you, there is a phone number down below. Actually, go ahead and get your cell. Give me a call at that number down below. When you talk with my secretary, make sure that you pick a good date and a time to get on our calendar, and that way we can have a good day and time to know when to return your telephone call so we can talk about your baby's story and journey. In addition to that, you want to make sure that you provide my office with a good email address, an email address that you check frequently, because sometimes we have to reach out to you by email, and we just want to make sure that it is at an email address that you check frequently so we can get in touch with you that way. And finally, I practice law here in the state of Maryland, and sometimes I know people will contact me in my office. They're in the United States, but they may not necessarily be in Maryland. If that is you, just understand that we have to use what we call co-counsel or local counsel. In other words, an attorney in your state. And that's something that we can look to help you with. But I just want to make sure that you understand that co-counsel or local counsel aspect of things if you are not here in the state of Maryland. All right, that's going to be it for today's quick educational video. Again, I'm Marcus Boston, and I'm one of the childbirth injury and medical malpractice attorneys practicing law here in the state of Maryland at Boston Law Group, LLC. We'll talk with you next time. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.